Clubfoot, Sabian, and before that, another song on XFM. What was it, Neil?
Jake Bug.
Jake Bug? Was it Jake Bug?
Yeah, seen it all. Thanks.
Well, I know you have, mate, but what was the name of the song? Lovely banter. I did. You can do that with any... yeah, what was the name of the Sabian song?
Clubfoot.
No, it's just the way I'm standing. I mean, this is absolutely lovely stuff to set you going just after midday on a Saturday, and we are joined by James Acaster. Hello, James.
Hello, Josh.
What's your favourite song?
It smells like Teen Spirit. Not even my favourite song, just I knew it'd be funny.
Yeah, very good. You're that good. Welcome, James. How you been?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
Keeping well?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Any news?
Had a haircut.
Had a haircut, yeah. And pleased with it?
Oh, I told you, but you know that I'm not fully satisfied. it's a little bit long at the back, but it'd been... I've not got a mullet, listeners, but like he'd already like cut it once and showed me it. I said, a bit more off the back, please, and then again, and it was the third time.
It's too late. It's too late by then.
It's like I was saying. It's like when
how much more was he trimming off?
A little bit each time, but he had loads of stories, so he kept on telling me stories. Which one?
What about the England football squad in the 1980s? Well, welcome, James. We're talking today, as you're aware, about lies you got caught in, particularly at school, and or just lies that people have made up at school.
Yeah.
And you've presumably been racking your brains.
I never told any myself, but one kid, I got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bubble bath for my birthday.
Yes.
And obviously I couldn't go into school without running my mouth off about it until then.
No, I thought
I got it.
Go to school without it.
And
who fancies a shower after sport?
Cowabunga? But one of the kids told me, "Oh yeah, I got that for my birthday, and it's amazing because you put it in the bubble bath, like you put it in the bath, and then the turtles rise up in bubble form out of the bubbles." And he told me all the poses they were all doing.
Yeah.
But so I sat in the bath.
Well, you believed him?
Yeah, I believed him. I sat in the bath just looking at the bubbles intently, waiting for them to turn into Leonardo.
Like a magic eye.
Yeah, I was like, here we go. And like, at no point did it...
Oh.
At one point I was like, that could be one of them sitting on their back.
That could be Splinter. At the very least.
Krang is the only one it could be, is that brain.
I mean, I'd settle for Bebop and Rocksteady at this point. Any others?
As a kid who claims that his uncle invented the Twister. As in the ice cream, not the game. Yeah.
No, yeah, well, that's good.
And the way we tested him was by saying, name the flavours then that involved in the Twister. And he did it. Pineapple ice cream.
His story checks out.
Yeah. Raspberry and lime of the ice, and then pineapple ice cream, which
I always presumed it was vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, well, you would have been caught out on that line.
So you knew the answer.
Yeah, we all knew, mate.
We all knew.
Well, I think one kid knew. For something, maybe had a Twister in his bag that he always carried around with him just in case someone was lying about.
In his cool box.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. But, and the best one at school was because this one was really, it wasn't elaborate, so none of us caught on to it all the way through secondary school. A kid called Campbell.
Was that it?
Yeah. Well, that's all I'm going to say. His thing was that he went to air cadets. Was the thing, and he would tell everyone. And the thing is that he got made fun of for it. And like people, and no one thought in a million years it was a lie, because he did it all the way from year 7 all the way through to we were in GCSEs, and then someone called Andrew Cox decided that he was going to go to air cadets as well, just to wind up Campbell more than anything. And he turned up and Campbell wasn't there, and he said to the guy, it's like at the end of a horror film. To the guy, where's Campbell? And the guy went, who's Campbell? And he had never been to air cadets.
That's amazing.
And we were all the next day at school just all waiting for him, just like,
what did he say? How did he explain it?
I think he just avoided it. I can't even remember what his reaction was. I remember we all went, we can't believe you lied about it, and he was just just quite cool about it. It's like, yeah, I'd have something.
To Campbell.
Yeah.
That's astonishing.
He did once tell us that he crashed a jet in a field, and we were...
You brought that?
Well, that was what started the suspicions, to be honest.
Well, James, we'll be talking to you about your classic tropes, and we've got more of them coming up. But this next song is Tom Odell. What's it called, Neil?
Hold Me.
I don't even need to do the punchline on that one.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast.
I'm still joined by James Acaster.
Big time.
Big time. That is his familiar catchphrase. We're talking this morning about lies that you told at school. Maybe got away with, maybe didn't get away with. What's producer Neil? What's the top in the league table currently?
Dom in Watford.
Dom in Watford,
Yeah.
with his pretending that he was from Sicily.
Brilliant.
Are you a fan of that one,
I
James?
think it's remarkable. Especially if he did it in school. I picture him as a primary school kid.
Yeah.
Going around telling people he was from Sicily. I think it's amazing.
I mean, the knowledge of Sicily even existing at that age.
Yeah. I'd like to know, if you're still listening, mate, if you can tweet in anything else that you did to back it up.
He did tweet again to say he's from the north of England, so that was the accent he was peddling at the time. Oh, but yeah, Tom, any more lies? We're looking for them. Have you got any there, James?
Got one from Pippa here. She says, I told someone who was chatting me up at a party, which is that's an arrogant start. In my opinion.
Cocky?
I mean, I've never assumed anyone was chatting me up. I mean, even though I'm sure it's happened relentless times to me.
Yeah, you never realised that's your
yeah.
problem.
I told someone chatting me up at a party that I had been in the Ferrero Rocher ad.
Oh.
In brackets, the ambassador one. Now I don't know.
You no need to specify.
Yeah. if you're lying about any others, that is a ridiculous lie.
You know the Ferrero Rocher ad I'm in? Or the ambassador one? No.
I mean,
The one sat on an alpine ski slope.
the one with the Labrador towing a sled of Ferrero Rocher. I played the Rocher thief in the bushes. That is an advert I made up, but if Ferrero Rocher are listening and they want to take on my surreal advert.
How does this advert work?
There's a Labrador towing a sled full of Ferrero Rochers, and Pippa is hiding in a bush dressed as a Rocher thief, which I imagine it has a cloak and a hood and a scythe, like the Grim Reaper, and sneaks out the bushes, and when she goes to take a Rocher, a squirrel. A squirrel leaps out and tetanus injections and stuff like that. That's all I've got.
It tails off.
You know,
Tails
I'm
off.
not in marketing, Josh. No, she says the reason that she told the lie was because it hadn't been on TV for ages, which means that she was being chatted up and went, I need a lie because I'm not.
Yeah.
And what advert hasn't been on TV
Her other
for?
option
Shake and vac? No.
I was in El Dorado. So did she say what role she played in the Ferrero advert?
She hasn't, but I mean, I think the ambassador would be a bit too much of a lie.
Or the person that felt like they were being spoilt.
Yeah, or the person holding the tray
Oh, yeah.
would be a bit too much. She would have to be
Is the
just...
ambassador even in the advert?
Yeah,
because he's being talked to.
So she couldn't say... She couldn't be the person who says, you're spoiling us. She couldn't be the ambassador. She couldn't be the waiters. Should have been someone eating a Rocher in the background.
Yeah. But also, Pippa presumably being chatted up at a party, you'd guess 20s or 30s with that kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, she'd have presumably been a child during the Ferrero Rocher advert.
That's true. Unless, I don't know, Pippa, she could have been...
I can't believe we are going into this too much, but let's persist.
The joke was on Pippa in the end, because apparently...
her text continues.
It reappeared on TV very soon after. So the guy was obviously...
He called her on it?
probably there, watching it the next morning together.
The next morning when they
it appeared on TV. Which one's you then? Which one's you, Pippa? Storming out.
Yeah, and then the dog in a sled.
He jumped in it, sailed away. Don't call me again.
Well, poor Pippa. I think that's the kind of admirable lie, and that's the kind of lie I want the listeners to be peddling. Neil, you've got many tasks this week. If the other task this week, if at one point you could claim that you were in the Ferrero Rocher advert to anyone that you meet, if they go for it, I'll buy you a box of the aforementioned luxury chocolates.
Okay, fair enough. Can that be a challenge for all listeners?
That can be a challenge for all. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, very good. Listener challenge.
Yeah, claim
You got that much money.
No, but the winner. So what we want you to do is record yourself. Obviously, you can't fake this. If you're going to, just buy some Rocher. It's cheaper. I want a recording of you of you claiming to be in the Ferrero Rocher advert. How do they send it in, Neil?
You can send it in at josh@xfm.co.uk.
Josh at xfm.co.uk. recordings of you claiming to be in the Ferrero Rocher, but to a stranger, ideally.
And as editorial, are we deciding the winner?
Yeah, editorial, we are deciding the winner. Yeah, we don't want a BBC scandal on our
There's
hands.
only one winner.
There's only one winner. And, well, there's two winners, Neil. There's the person that wins, and there's the marketing department of Ferrero Rocher, who haven't had this much of a boost in 20 years.
I imagine that they're currently on the phone to Battersea Dog Zone trying to get hold of a Labrador.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
This is James Acaster. Hello.
Hello.
We come to the crux of the matter, which is your classic scrapes.
Indeed.
Which has now got its own hashtag,
It has.
which people have misread, but let's not go into that.
Yep. Not that kind of comic.
Thankfully. So is your classic scrape a scrape from this week or a scrape from the archives?
It's from the archives because it's the only time that a lie has got me into a scrape. But
Nice.
when I used to just have a part-time job in a kitchen,
Yep.
I would work 12 hours a week and have a lot of free time,
Yeah.
and I would look for any way to fill that time whatsoever.
Probably at a low cost, considering your income.
As long as it was free. And once my dad got a letter in the post, which it just said to the homeowner, so I just opened it. That's how bored I was.
Yeah.
And it was an invitation addressed to my dad to a French porcelain exhibition at,
I'm already on board.
at the Park Hotel in Kettering. And I waited till my dad got home and said, "Do you want to go to this?" He said, "No." I said, "Are you okay if I just pretend to be you?"
And he said, well, go on then.
Yeah.
But it will be a joint Christmas and birthday present.
Yeah. I did hear him and my mother having a chat later on about how concerned they were about my future. He really wanted to go to that porcelain exhibition. I think something's wrong with him. He used to be filling his time, Diane. But so I went. It was in the daytime. 2 days later, and I turned up, and it was because I arrived at reception, said I was here for the porcelain exhibition, and they sent me through to this little room where there was a buffet. It was quite a lovely spread, to be honest. Yeah. But then, it was me and 10 elderly people. Everyone else was at least in their mid-70s. I was at the time, I think I was 19.
Were you labouring under the kind of idea that you were David Acaster?
Yeah, so I was turning up as David Acaster.
Okay, you're a very young homeowner.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, hey guys, I'm pretty successful," and everyone else very old.
Yeah,
and
understandably.
Yeah. And then the doors opened to this main room. We got ushered into there, and it wasn't an exhibition at all. It was basically, there was a table at the far end of a big long room. There was a long table, horizontally. We were all told to stand behind that in a line, like a police lineup.
Yeah.
And then the other side of that, there was.
They said, which one of these people
has lied?
has lied
about their identity. There was like a.
What? When you talk about this like this is a normal situation, at this point, would alarm bells not ring?
Yeah, at this point, I was like, "Oh no, I never find scrape I've got myself into." So, standing there. There was this behind the table. There was like these shelves that all had like porcelain,
So you're in the right
dishes
place.
and plates. I was like, "Well, maybe at the time."
Yeah.
To be honest, I was thinking this is the worst exhibition ever. This is just some porcelain. And then behind that, there was like a big screen, like a partition, and this man walked from behind it. This big, tall guy in a suit and glasses, and he said, "He's a French guy." I'm not going to do the accent. He said,
Go on, have a go.
"Welcome."
Don't do it.
No.
No.
He said, "Welcome. My name is Michelle."
Yeah.
And when he said Michelle, one of the old guys really laughed for ages. One of the old men couldn't stop laughing that this guy's name is a man called Michelle.
Yeah. Classic scrape.
Yeah, and he said
that better not be the end of the scrape.
Yeah. And then we went home. But he said, Limarche is the name of the porcelain company. And he said it's one of the most respected porcelain companies in the whole world. You have been selected. You're a very lucky few.
Oh.
One of you will be walking home today with over £5,000 worth of French porcelain for free.
Wow. That's a bargain.
Yeah, we were there like, I can't believe this. This is I was like,
Anyone would say you might have walked into a massive con here.
At the time, I thought, if all we have to do to win this is some physical exercise, I'm going to win. If it's a Royal Rumble.
The assault course from the Krypton Factory.
If we're doing the Travelator and the Gladiators. they said, to decide which one of you will walk away with the porcelain, I hand over to my assistant Juliet. And then Michelle went back behind the partition, but it turned out he was way too tall. Like, you could see his head if he stood behind it, so he had to crouch, and I was right at the end of the line, so I could see him, and he was crouching with his hands on his knees, and his job for the rest of the presentation was to shush the old people when they got too excited. So every now and again they'd start talking, and he'd just go shh, really loud.
When you said he went behind the partition, I was hoping he'd come out with a wig on. Bonsoir, my name is Juliet.
Glasses off. But Juliet came out and she was telling us all about the history.
Was she French?
She was French, yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly higher voice, pretty much the accent that I did before. And she was telling us the history of it and how respected it is. And the most embarrassing bit, she got one of the plates, and each plate had like a different flower or something painted on it.
Yeah.
And one of them had a thistle on it. And I'm very my accent's quite lazy. I don't do th sounds and I just say f's. Yeah. And it turns out there's no th sounds in the French language, so they struggle with it as well. But they make the effort.
Yeah.
So she went, on here is a French thistle, like that. And all the old people, instead of letting it go, just went, it's a thistle.
Oh.
And then for about 5 minutes, back and forth, it was going, thistle, 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 thistle. And that was one of the best things I've ever seen. But she passed a plate to one of the old ladies, and she said, say you get this out of your cupboard. What's the first thing you do with it? And the old lady didn't know what to do, and she panicked and licked the plate. just licked it properly up. It just held it with two hands.
That is a panic.
It gave it full on the whole width of the plate.
Yeah. Well, there's no width, James. The plate's...
Sorry, was it radius?
No,
I don't
radius
know.
of the plate.
But licked it.
Diameter.
And then obviously Juliet shook her head and said, no, you would turn it round and you would look at the official Limache stamp on the back, and that was...
Bloody hell.
Quite awkward.
Juliet's fun to have.
Yeah. But at the end, she basically said, this is how we decide who's going to walk away with this porcelain. So she put 3 simple questions. If you answer these questions correctly, you win the porcelain. So I was like, right, here we go.
You must have been very excited.
Yeah. First question was, did you like the porcelain I showed you today?
1. Yeah, straight away.
Hands up if you liked them. No one went out in the first round. Question 2.
Are you thinking I'm in it?
I thought this is looking good. Question 2.
Do you remember the war? Oh, well, that's it.
Question 2. Who would like to have some of this porcelain for free?
You're still in the game.
But the thing is...
Any fallers at that stage?
No, and the thing is that Juliet went along the line counting the hands up 5 times. Like, properly. And she got to me at the end of the second round, and she looked at me and went... I'll have you know, I am a psychologist, and I can tell if you are lying. I was like, oh, I would genuinely like this porcelain for free.
I'm only working 12 hours a week.
Yeah. Third question was, if we give you this porcelain for free, would you be prepared to have your initials engraved on the back of every single bit of porcelain, which costs £500 per initial? All the hands went down apart from one lady.
Oh, no.
And Juliet went, everyone with their hands down, get out the room, you're eliminated. And as we walked out, the last thing I saw before I went through the door, I turned around, I saw the old lady with her hand up. Slowly, she started looking around and realised she was the only one with her hand up still. And the last thing I saw was her punch in the air in celebration.
Oh,
well,
that is an astonishing scrape. Not so much for you as the old lady.
It's mainly a scrape for me, that old lady.
And now, every time you go to a house, you do check the back to see whether her initials are on it, and if it's the same old lady.
She's licked the front.
What was it, the liquor?
I think it might have been. It might have been the liquor. But apparently she had a point to prove by the end.
She licks every plate to make sure the initials don't come off. Arctic Monkeys, Brainstorm, and that's one of those songs that's got a fake ending. And whenever you get one of those songs played live, when people cheer the fake ending, and you think, oh, you're not a proper fan, are you? That's James Acaster. Hello.
Hello, mate. Yeah, I was once at Reading Festival 2000, and a band called My Vitriol.
Oh yeah, I remember.
did a song that had a fake ending, and when everyone cheered, someone when it's not finished, you idiot. And the audience really angry, and the audience really just like so furious.
I love a fake ending. I think there should be more of them in popular music.
Yeah, I think there should be more in comedy. We should do more. There's the joke, and then we go, then we can just carry on.
You thought that was the punchline.
Jam.
How are you, James?
Yeah, good. Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, so
Got a cup of tea there?
got a cup of tea. It's a nice brisk morning. Well, it's the afternoon, but
It's the afternoon and it's dreadful outside, but apart from that, you keep raising the tea to your lips and then putting it back down. I'm going to talk, right? I'm going to say something just so that, because I need you to drink that tea. The sound. That was like we'd got a BBC sound effects CD called Drinking
guy in the
Tea.
corner with like some water and a triangle and a main shaker.
Now James is going to walk down a gravel pathway. Has it been a good week?
Yeah, that's been nice.
Yeah?
It's just been doing the usual stuff, Josh.
Good. And this week, I'm just drinking tea loudly.
Just drinking tea
Do you wanna have one
really
more sip?
loudly,
Do you wanna have
neighbours complaining, but what are they going to do? Stop walking down that gravel pathway, we're trying to sleep.
I'm really parched. Just shut up. After 11 p.m, you're not. So we're talking today about when you've gone to the wrong things, or rented the wrong things, or whatever, the wrong things. Have you presumably have stuff on this?
Got about 3 stories about this, to be
here we
honest.
go. Let me just pull up a chair and have a sip of my tea.
One of the shorter ones, when me and my friend Graham went to see Terminator 3.
Yeah, I mean, why?
Why? It was the best of a bad bunch.
Oh, right,
when sometimes
okay.
you go to cinema and you don't really know what you're going to go and see, and you just look at the board and you just make the decision based on what is going to make you regret your life.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So we did that, and Graham likes to, when we go into the cinema, shout really immature phrases.
Yeah.
So as soon as we walked in, we're behind that big wall when you couldn't see anyone. He just shouted bums really, really loud.
Yes,
just bums.
classic,
And I think that's pretty acceptable.
Yeah.
I shouted that, but really, and I think because it's so immature, it was more embarrassing. We walked in and sat down. We thought we were walking in during the trailers. We realised we were walking in halfway through a different showing of Terminator 3 during a very tense moment where the lady Terminator's looking for John Connor behind a box, and we sat down, realised what it was, and instead of waiting for me, Graham just legged it, just ran out, really ran, and then as I was walking out holding popcorn and a big drink, an old man as I walked past him just went, bums.
Do you think he was referring to him saying that, or that was his reference to what he thought you were like?
I think that man was probably quite happy that he got to do both in one. It's like, I think they're a couple of bums. I do not approve of what they said.
Any others?
Well, you know our friend comedian Mike Wozniak.
I do. Wonderful comedian.
Yeah. Everyone should try and see Mike if they can.
I had to listen to the podcast to check it was like all right, and last time I referred to him, turns out I was having a moustache, which is not actually the kind of praise you want.
But he does have a moustache.
He's better than it. He's got a moustache, but he's better than that.
He is better than that. He doesn't need it. But he was doing a preview of his Edinburgh show in London, and I really wanted to go and see it. I had the night off, so I went along to the venue that was listed in Time Out. And as I got there, the audience was walking in. I just made it in the nick of time, so I ran in on the back of the queue, got in and sat down. And all the lights were down, and then the lights, a very faint spotlight just came up, and then there was someone's face who I was like, that man doesn't have a moustache. That doesn't look like Wozniak. And then the person, but I couldn't really quite see it. They started swinging. They had a torch on a skipping rope. They started swinging it around their head. So it was like blinding the audience to go around. They started doing a monologue about a lighthouse. And I thought, this is a very different direction for Mike. I mean,
Mike has ripped up the rule book.
His last show was a load of well-observed comic routines, slightly smutty, but he's never done a monologue about a lighthouse before, especially it's his opening gambit. And then I realised I was watching a three-man play about 3 men who go crazy in a lighthouse, and I was at the back of the room at this point, furthest away from the door. I couldn't leave.
No.
And I watched the whole thing.
Was it good?
It was actually quite enjoyable. Turns out Mike had double booked, or the venue double booked, and Mike had to go and do his preview elsewhere.
I hope there's lots of people wanting a Lighthouse-based play in Mike's preview. Well, keep them coming in, listeners, on 83936 or tweet us at XFM.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM Podcast.
It's XFM, it's Josh Widdicombe, and as it's the final hour, joined by James Acaster, and we're talking today about times you've gone to the wrong thing, or rented the wrong thing, or read the wrong, whatever. Read the wrong thing wouldn't be one.
Read the wrong thing. Getting up to do a eulogy and read it out on FHM column.
What have you got any reason?
I got a text or a tweet in, I don't know, from Steve from Sunderland.
I kind of I queued that in a very weird way, I realised. So
Have I got
have you got any?
I have. Steve from Sunderland. Now, he says, as a 12-year-old lad, so, you know.
Is this back in the day, or is Steve from Sunderland a very precocious 12-year-old?
He doesn't really say. But it says, oh God, someone says, sorry, I'm reading this off of my Gmail, and as I was reading it, someone's Google chatted me, and that made me, I'm now reading the wrong thing, ladies and gentlemen. Against all odds, after we said it couldn't happen, I've just started reading the wrong thing.
Who Google chatted you?
Stuart Laws, he says, what you doing?
Why don't you reply? Let's have a reply. I'm live on the radio.
Live on XFM, reading an email. There you go. Stuart knows now. Now, here we go. Steve from Sunderland. Also, now, not only have I read the wrong thing, I've just typed the wrong thing and told him I'm live on XDM. So...
What a scrape.
If no one
believes... Live scrape, ladies and gentlemen.
In case no one believes my scrapes are real. That's my... Okay. Steve from Sunderland.
Close down the G-chat, mate. Close down the G...
Yeah, I'm going to close it now because he's typing again. Can I have a shout-out? You've already had a shout-out, Stu. You've already had way too much attention. This is about Steve from Sunderland. Steve from Sunderland says...
Just before we get into this, just before this new one, just a quick link on this one.
That's a quick link. Trying to get distracted by your mate Stuart. As a 12-year-old lad...
It's better be good. It's better be good, Steve from Sunderland.
I visited the local video store 3 times a week. Doesn't say if he rented stuff.
Like clockwork.
So much so that my dad used to let me rent anything I wanted, and the woman who worked there, in brackets, who was fit, first proper crush, that would explain the trio of visits, used to let me rent 18s without said father being there.
Whoa. She needs sacking.
Yeah, you get 5 for that. I don't care if that 12-year-old's looking at you with doe eyes. One day I rented Flash Gordon. I mean, really taking that 18 certificate privilege to the max there. And when I got home and put it in the top-loaded machine, a few minutes in, I realised this wasn't Flash Gordon, but Flesh Gordon. The erotic spoof version. Now, I don't think most people refer to pornographic films as erotic spoofs. It's not a spoof, really, is it? No. It's not like Hot Shots.
I'm enjoying the nudity and the puns.
As a 12-year-old lad, always refers to himself as a 12-year-old lad, never a boy or a lad. I watched an hour, then took it back. Now, I don't know if that's how long it took him to figure it out, or if he was just confused or curious. Then took it back and complained to the very embarrassed, in brackets, fit woman. I mean, he's clearly, he fancies ladies as a 12-year-old. I mean, unless Flesh Gordon didn't. I don't know if it featured ladies.
Let's not get into
Yeah,
that.
it's not. If anyone knows about the plot lines of Flesh Gordon, if you can tweet in.
Yeah, let's tweet in 83936 or at XFM if you've seen Flesh Gordon.
The very last sentence of this is what I like. 'Cause after this mix-up, you would think he would be a bit careful with his next rental, but he says, I then proceeded to rent the Goonies.
Well, we got there in the end and it was worth it. You are listening to XFM.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
This is Josh Widdicombe on a Saturday morning on XFM, and we arrive at what Neil said is many people's favourite part of the show to me. He said, bill it as that. But I've got such an ego, I refuse to.
I mean, not many things are as good as the tea slurping.
I know it is. It's actually the bit of the show I look forward to most, which is James Acaster. Hello, James.
Hello, Josh.
Going through telling us about one of his legendary scrapes. This didn't even start as a feature idea. It just kind of organically grew, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. Just as the start, because my stupid life.
So what have you got for us this week, James?
Well, this is the third time I've gone to the wrong thing. I mean, I've really.
No, you're in the right
out.
studio. You weren't on Choice FM, were you?
I was supposed to be sitting down with Charlotte Church. This was quite a few years ago now when I had a lot of time on my hands and I was looking for any way to fill an evening. So, and I feel like I should build up to this by saying that. But I went to. I googled what was on in Kettering. Where
Nothing came up, so
yeah, so I stayed in. Basically, there was something called Kettering Board Games Club. On, and I don't know if anyone has ever been to a board games club.
I haven't been to a board games club, no.
I'm a fan of board games.
Yeah, I like a board game as much as the next man.
Yeah, I mean the website was fairly.
What's your favourite?
I used to really love Cluedo, but I don't really want to say that because obviously that gives you the heads up. You've got about 10 minutes of material.
I've got about 10 minutes of material. I'm not going to just do it on X.
Here we go.
Cluedo, you say? Well, let me take you through this. No. So you turned up at the board games club.
Yeah, I bought a game called Thrice with me, which is
right.
Because I thought these people they play a lot of board games. If I bring Monopoly or something,
Yeah. Oh God, you'd be laughed out of town.
Yeah, that'll be it. But also, I don't want to show off too much. So, Thrice on the board game, it's
mid-level.
Tagline is a simple game of tactics. I thought that is modest,
right up their street.
Still fairly into that. They're going to go, he's not too cocky, but you know. So I bought that along with me. I had it in my backpack and got my friend James Bug. Not to be confused with Jake Bug, to come along with me.
Yeah, Jimmy Bug.
Yeah, he didn't bring his own board game.
Jimmy.
He wanted getting on my fright action. Fair enough.
No.
And we knocked on the door of the centre, and this guy answered. He was wearing a Star Trek T-shirt.
Of course he was.
And he looked.
It was Mufti Day.
He was very confused. And he went, yeah, like, we're here for the board games club. And he went, oh, okay. Led us up some stairs into this room.
Oh no!
And we went into the room, and there's about 3 different tables.
Was it a house?
It was the Mind Centre, the Kettering Mind Centre.
Okay.
Now but they just used it in the evening. That's all they did.
Yeah.
The board games club hired it out. But we went in the room, and there's 3 different tables, and. Very quickly,
me the board games club couldn't afford their own premises.
I mean, the budget was pretty tight that year for the Kettering Board Games Club.
I interjected. Carry on.
No, interject all you like. But I'm not going to start, wielding the whip on my, during my scrapes. I'm not getting so indulgent on them. No one can interject with their own opinions or emotions at any point. But basically, here's the first thing that struck me when I walked in. There wasn't a board in sight. Which I felt... Now, there were some games, but the games were... I don't know if you've ever played or ever... You'll sort of be familiar with games like Warhammer.
I know of others, but I can't think of them. Well, there's Warhammer 40,000, which was set in the future.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Someone's more of a connoisseur than I gave him credit for.
What was it called? Games Workshop.
Yeah. So it was stuff like that. So there was one army one with all the little figurines, and there's another one like loads of fantasy figures like elves and wizards and stuff. And then another table they were playing like a card game, like trumpet each other and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well,
Magic the Gathering.
It was Magic the Gathering. It was Magic
That's what people at my school are into.
I thought I recognised you. Board games. But I saw this and I thought, well, Thrice is staying in the backpack. I'm not getting out a simple game of tactics in front of these people. They'll laugh me out of town.
Not an orc inside.
Yeah. So they were basically like, what game do you guys want to play? And I was like, I said the war one because I was like, well, that's most familiar. That's at least set in real life. I can't even begin to imagine what an orc does. So I was like, I played the army one.
Spare time.
But it was even more because we sat down. We were both like, there were two people playing the army game, and me and James were paired up with one of each. And I was with one guy, and he said, "Right, I've made up the rules to this game. So I invented the rules last night, and we've all got them written down on this piece of paper."
Yeah.
And
oh my word!
And they said, first of all, let's decide what team do you want to be, the British or who wants to be the Germans? And no one was volunteering, so I went, "We'll be the Germans." And when I said, it was like I was actually saying, I wish the Germans had won. It was like everyone looked at me like, oh, you can't say that. But we ended up being the Germans, and I figured out about 30 seconds into the game that the British, this guy had painted his figurines himself. He painted the British Army to look like the characters from popular TV show Dad's Army. And at one point, I had to make the decision and shoot Pike in the face. Because you got to properly roll the dice, it told you if you got a headshot or not, and I properly shot Pike in his face.
Ian Lavender,
who sadly, he's one of the few cast members who's still alive, and I picked him off early doors. As the game progressed,
Did Clive Dunn face you out?
Yeah, Clive. I was like, right, Dunn's next.
This is for Grandad.
But as the game,
who were yours dressed as? The Castle Alfeda's same pair?
If only. But as the game progressed, I made worse and worse decisions. Most of the time, I chose to hide behind a rock, and my teammate
in the game.
Yeah.
Not in the room.
James, it's your go. You can't get out of this. How did you get a rock into the mine centre? But basically, my teammate got very frustrated with me and started saying stuff like, "You do realise we're going to lose if you keep this up," and we did lose. And he He refused to speak to me for the rest of the evening. That was it. I was in the bad books. I had to go and make the teas as a punishment, and also get the biscuits. And I bought some. I found some caramel digestives, and they told me to put those back because he told me to put those back when we lost.
Amazing. Well, that is a classic scrape. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I can't believe you shot Ian Lavender in the face.
Also, none of them said goodbye to us. That is another thing I'd like to add.
Oh, yeah, of course they did. You're a bloodthirsty killer.
I'd never come back.
Don't kill him, Pike. Oh, well, thank you, James. That's going to take... Well, I say everything. That's going to take some topping. If you want to comment on that, it's hashtag Classic Scrapes. Get that right. And into the final hour, as always, joined by James Acaster. Yeah. How are you, James?
Excellent. How are you?
Very good. What have you been up to this week?
Been up to the usual stuff, Josh. Just
good. We're talking about this week texts. Not just sent to the wrong person. That's trodden ground, James. We're talking about a number you don't know and textual chat with them. Have you come across any of these situations?
I've only ever received one number from a unknown, and that was when I was in a busy. Well, I actually wasn't a busy restaurant. It was a restaurant, and my table we were being extremely noisy. There was a lot of us.
Yeah.
And then I got a text in Spanish from a number I didn't recognise.
You weren't at Quigolino's, by any chance?
We're in an Italian, so I don't understand. And I got I later got one of my friends to translate it for me. And it said, "I'm feeling very relaxed now."
So what did it have to do with you being loud in a restaurant?
Well, I don't think someone had actually seen us being loud and then texted us, because that would have been quite the guess.
I think these were unrelated incidents.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think what you've done there is you've connected two anecdotes that are completely unrelated.
Well, that was where it happened.
Oh right, sorry. I thought it was going to be related to the restaurant chat.
No, I was in the restaurant and got the text. So I was setting the scene of where I was.
Oh right, being rowdy in a restaurant.
Being rowdy, I got a text. And then,
Orange Wednesday, Pizza Express didn't know what hit it.
Yeah, it could have been from a sarcastic Spanish person in the restaurant who happened to guess my number.
I'm feeling very relaxed now.
Feeling very relaxed.
Did you reply?
Yeah, I think I replied saying, "Who is this?" Which is the classic, but not in Spanish. So never got a reply to that. I tried to ring it once, and
how bored were you?
I've got a very boring life, Josh. Between things going badly for me, there's very little going on, so I had to.
You have to find your own scrape
to start ringing numbers.
So you rung a foreign number.
Rung a foreign number, and the number wasn't active anymore. Or whatever, it was just nothing.
So you think maybe it was the last thing they did before cancelling their...
I'm feeling very relaxed now.
I've made my peace with O2, and I'm cancelling my contract.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant before they ended their life.
Oh no!
Sent me a text. Feeling very relaxed now. Everything's beautiful.
I can see a light at the end of a tunnel.
Yeah.
Just send that to James Acaster.
Make him a number. Then just send that to a loved one. I'm sure he'll get the message to him.
So that's the only experience you've had of that?
Well, my friend got a message sent to him by mistake, but by someone he knew. He's another comedian, and he was doing some adverts, and the director
sell out.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not say his name. But the director texted him saying, really looking forward to this. My name's whatever. Looking forward to working with you.
Can't wait to take the Yankee dollar. Yeah,
this is going to be great. Don't worry. There's a place in hell reserved especially for us. Anyway, they got he sent him the text.
Still living at missing out on the advert, aren't you?
yeah, really annoyed. But at least I got to direct it. So he's texted my friend that, and my friend texted back going, "Yep, brilliant, see you on Saturday." And then got a text from the guy immediately after saying, "Yes. Duvet day. Can't wait to hug and kiss you all day long." And then loads of kisses. And then immediately a text afterwards going, "Oh Jesus, I'm so sorry. please ignore that message."
I've just remembered. Oh, I can't say that. I was gonna. Well, this is why I'm checking if my mate's listening. After the next song, I'm going to say about a text that I got from one of my friends over at uni that I never confronted him about because it was too embarrassing for both of us.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Manic Street Preachers, Design for Life, Welsh. All three of them.
Welsh, which is on the left of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, we were just thinking of facts about the Manic Street Preachers, and that's the one I've got. Used to be four of them. Now, James, as always, every week, you have a scrape. Basically, your life is a story of escapades that have gone wrong, and you come in to tell us one a week. And we call them your classic scrapes because that is what the audience have created the hashtag of.
Yeah.
So what was your scrape this week?
I thought, because we're talking about texts and confusion with texts, the wife was that this is years ago now. There's this girl that I really...
How long ago?
4
Did you talk
years
into
ago.
the wrong cup on a piece of string?
Yes. I sent a telegram to the wrong maiden. Do you think that ever happened?
Sent it to the wrong wench?
Have you ever made that mistake?
No.
The page just totally...
Yeah, presumably. You get letters
Messenger.
to the wrong address.
Yeah, some messengers must have gone to the wrong person.
Wrong carrier pigeon.
Anyway,
we digress.
Probably about 4 years ago, there's this girl that I really fancied her.
Yeah.
And she knew that I did.
Yeah.
So I told her.
How had you told her?
I had done one of my classic, not scrapes, classic misreaders of the situation where I think that because I feel a certain way, then surely...
Yeah.
This is mutual, and I very often, if I fancy someone, just tell them early doors and mess it up.
Yeah.
So I got overexcited.
You go all in.
Said, "Hey, we both feel like this, right?" She goes, "Not really." Oh, great. So, but we continued to be friends because we got on really well.
Yeah.
But things were like a bit awkward. I was like, you know what? Probably just doesn't really want me around much. I kept my distance, and then one Christmas, this is about a month after I'd told her that I like her, I got a text from her.
Oh no.
"I'm at a Christmas party and bored out of my mind. Please come and rescue me."
Yeah.
And I was like, this is and then she put the address at the bottom of the text. I was like, this is brilliant.
Playing into my hands.
Hello.
2 glasses of eggnog and let's see where it leads.
Yeah. So drove. He didn't even text back saying yes. He just drove there. So excited, just got in the car.
Yeah.
Straight to the venue, which by the way was a primary school because her dad worked at a primary school, used to at least. So everyone was kind of, it was like the staff do. And I got there and I didn't know what door to get, so I texted her saying I'm outside. And then she came out. She looked crestfallen, just absolutely gutted. And I was like, "Oh, this is a strange reaction to United shining armours here." Like,
maybe the party had picked up. You were thinking.
Yeah,
She was disappointed she'd had to come outside at all.
yeah, and she literally said this. She went, "Oh, that's a group text, and you're the only one who showed up."
Oh no!
And I was like, "Right," and she, very reluctant. "Do you want to come in?" I was like, "Oh, okay." I went in, and we were by about 30 years the youngest people there. Like everyone else was very old, and we sat down on this table with a load of other pensioners, and she went, "I'm just going to go and get a drink," and then she just went, and I honestly didn't see her again for the rest of the. She did. She went into the kitchen and talked to some other people. I was sat at this table with there's about 3 old ladies. And the music, they were playing 5, 6, 7, 8 by steps really loud, I remember, at one point, when one of them was trying to talk to me and I couldn't hear what she was saying. And every time they went 5, 6, 7, 8, it's like it was counting me in to the next time I had to try and shout. Eventually, I hit a point in the night where I thought, well, this is awful.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just try and have the best night ever to rub her face in it. So that when she...
Yeah. How long were you there? Why didn't you just cut and run?
Because I honestly didn't know what to do. I wasn't prepared. You know, it's like someone...
Yeah.
It's like suddenly someone springs a surprise, throws a bucket of water in your face.
Yeah.
You don't know them instantly. So I was like, I don't really... And so what I did was I just got on the dance floor and started dancing. And it was me and one old man. And that was it. And we were dancing to... It was Virtual Insanity.
Right, by Jamiroquai. You weren't just saying it was virtual.
Yeah, Virtual Insanity. Look at the Christmas classic. when I want to think Christmas, I put Virtual Insanity on. And me and him,
Return of the Space Cowboy. They didn't have it on them.
Yeah, me and him just dancing. And this is the most heartbreaking bit. I then, while dancing the Virtual Insanity, I remember looking at the door, the main double doors. There was a window in it, and seeing her with a bunch of young people who had replied to the group text there. And she'd obviously gone, "Don't go in that main room. A really weird guy is in there." And then they were looking at me and probably going, "Yep, he's dancing to Jamiroquai on his own with an old man."
Oh my word.
And that was I ended up making friends with a lot of the old people, if I'm honest. I had a brilliant night.
Would be friends for life. Yeah. None of them are still with us.
Yeah, all of them. Their funerals were brilliant. I was invited by group text. Wasn't meant to be there, but I turned up.
Thank you, James, as always. Thank you, James. You'll be back next week, presumably.
Hopefully.
Josh Widdicombe Podcast. XFM.
This is Josh Widdicombe on XFM. I'm still joined by James Acaster. Hello.
Hello.
We were talking. You kind of digressed us onto people who've sent text to the wrong number, just that's in their phone book from just random numbers.
Which is worse.
And which is far worse. And this has reminded me of a text I received when I was at uni. And I never confronted the flatmate that sent me this because I was too embarrassed for both of us. And he never mentioned it, so I'm not going to mention his name, obviously. But I will just tell you the text. I was going to say read it out. I had one of those texts you had on your phone for like 2 years. And you didn't want to delete it.
Yeah.
It was I'm presuming to his girlfriend, and it was as follows. I know it off by heart. I can just say it. Was just going to give you a snuggle call, but sadly you seem to be out. Hope you're having a snunky time. Monker loves monkey. Monker loves monkey.
It'd be great. It'd be great if like seconds later you receive a text from her by mistake saying, I think we should stop seeing each other. Quite frankly, I can't take your vocabulary, just stupid words.
So I'm not gonna. I don't know if he's listening. Obviously, I'm not gonna use his name, so it's fine.
Yeah.
He can't blame me for that. But That was 2001, and I've never mentioned it to him because I was too embarrassed for both of us. This is XFM and Josh Widdicombe, and this is the final hour. And as always on the final hour, I'm joined by our resident... how would you describe your role? It's James Acaster.
Legend.
The always humble James Acaster.
The modest, handsome devil is.
How's your week been, James?
Lovely, yeah. Went on that. I think you remember last week in my countdown I said I was going to Wales on family holiday. I wasn't lying. I went there. I visited an aquarium.
You put your money
mate.
where your mouth was.
Oh yeah, visited an aquarium.
How are Dave and Diane, your parents?
Yeah, lovely. Thanks very much. They asked after you.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Dave and Di. They'll be on their way home now from Wales. I left early. That was planned. That wasn't. That wasn't the scrape for this week.
You weren't sent home in disgrace. So I can play at the World Cup.
This week's scrape. I'm banned from Wales. It was very nice.
Didn't pay the toll.
Yeah.
Tried to run across the bridge.
Limboing under the beam.
We're talking this morning about bedroom bands. Just bands you create. Often it's kind of the name that comes first, or the details before the person created the band. You've been looking through the tweets, James.
Through the tweets. At Get on the Soapbox. Now, this is you're regretting doing this, aren't you?
Well, it was easier to copy and paste the at than the name, but now I've
What
realised...
I think is a fun game is to imagine what their real name is in real life, based on their at. I think at Get on the Soapbox is called Ralph McGivens. So Ralph McGivens from Derby says, my band was Seize the Cheese. Uke and Djembe Pop.
You what?
Uke and Djembe Pop.
Amazing.
Now,
as in ukulele.
Ukulele and the djembe, which is an African drum. Play with the hands. Mainly at festivals outside the chai tea tent. They'll be having a djembe jam, a jambe.
Which is also what they have in their scone.
Yeah. Name taken from a police form where they had literally seized the cheese. I want to know why these guys are allowed access to looking at police forms.
Yeah, well, unless they're in the police. Or
that was a much more successful band.
They? Not as happy though, were they?
No, not doing Uke and Djembe as much. So, as if you get arrested for that.
What, seizing the cheese?
Seizing the cheese.
They might have been using it to smuggle drugs in the holes of the Swiss cheese.
It's really, it looked pretty obvious.
Yeah. No, what's that, sugar?
Like sugary cheese, what's the matter with you? Let me through.
No, don't seize the cheese!
You better put that on the form.
I think we've taken that as far as we could.
That guy likes to get on his soapbox, let's not forget.
This is XFM and this is Josh Widdicombe. We're talking about bedroom bands when you're a teenager. And joined by James Acaster for the final hour, who I'm presuming will have numerous anecdotes on this subject. So to recap, you're a man that gets in scrapes and was also in a series of bad bands we've established over the previous weeks.
I resent the term bad, for one. Even the didgeridoo flute conga trio was good while it lasted. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So, take us away, James. I mean, let's not cue this up any further.
So many bedroom bands. The first band I formed with other people, me and my friend Steve Nichols at school, formed 30-Foot Smurf. Really stick it to people.
How old were you?
I was probably 13 at that point.
Yeah.
12, 13.
30 foot or 13?
30 foot.
Oh, yeah.
30. It's like, imagine...
the stars.
It's like, you think you know Smurfs? Imagine a massive one, mate. So, shut up.
This is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Actually based on a line from a President's of the United States of America song.
Oh, my word.
So, really.
What was the band like?
Mainly, it's kind of like Green Day. Kind of like
Just the two of you?
Trying to be like Green Day. Yeah, just the two of us, no vocals, just like an instrumental Green Day without a bass.
That was great.
Hoping that a big shot record producer would walk past the window and go, that's exactly what Green Day have been missing. or
I've always felt the bass and the vocals gets in the way of me really enjoying their power chords.
Yeah, exactly. But before that, I used to do. I found on my sister's keyboard that you could record up to 5 instruments, make a little song that would last maximum of 1 minute.
Yeah,
and
no need for it to be any longer.
No, quite frankly, that's long enough. And
to make a point,
I got my little boombox which I could record on.
Yeah.
I'd set the tape up, and then I'd play the song. I'd record it and play it, and then it's kind of like influenced by the Prodigy, really Prodigy songs. And then I'd go downstairs and play it to my dad and make my dad sit down and listen to these. Like I'd have written like 10 songs that day. I did sit down and listen to them, and my name that I worked under, even though I am a slender gentleman and have been my whole life, was Fat Kid. With an F, not even with a PH, and one word as well. That was before emails were big.
So would Fat Kid have had a MySpace? This was pre-MySpace.
This is pre-MySpace, people having emails and having to save stuff as one word all the time.
Did your dad like it?
He would sit and listen to it, and he would
endure it.
He would go, "Oh, well done," and then that'd be it. And then I'd go, "Oh, great, I'm gonna go and do some more." It's like, if I don't give him some constructive criticism soon, this is gonna be my whole life.
So what kind of stuff was it? Like Prodigy Jance?
Yeah, I would basically find the synth noises on the keyboard, and I would use the pitch bend a lot. So I'd be going for like a minute.
Were you big into the kind of ecstasy scene?
Yeah, I was at age 9. Beyond belief in that bedroom as Fat Kid. Yeah, I just really loved the Prodigy.
Did you ever play it to anyone else?
No, just my dad, because I thought that's my target demographic. I don't really want to. I thought there's no point if David Acaster likes it.
If I can bring dance music to the middle age,
yeah,
you were like a prototype of Moby.
Yeah, I was like, David Acaster, he likes Buffalo Springfield. He loves listening to Neil Young. I think I'll sit him down in front of Fat Kid. You can listen to that.
I think more bands should have just played to their parents to kind of see if it's okay.
There are quite a few who I can think of who would have been better if they had kept it that way.
Eh?
Yeah, well, there's some people, I could have had another Jackson 5 on my hands. Played my day. If he really got into it, that would have been it. I'd have been swept up. So I was playing with fire.
Sadly, your dad's he's a teacher rather than a music mogul.
Yeah, he wouldn't exactly play it to his class.
Well, thank you, James.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
And we know what time it is, James. It's time for your classic scrape of the week. What adventure? Yeah, you're very, very quiet.
Yeah.
As if you're going, oh, what? I didn't know you were going to spring this on me.
I beg your sweet pardon.
So, each week, you relate... Is it a scrape from the archives? Or
this is an archive scrape due to the music. It's another music one because of the theme for today's...
Take it away, James.
Before the heady days of the conga band with the didgeridoo, I used to go down to... There was a regular jam night at a Kettering football club.
Of course there was.
Because there's a bar on the side of it. And everyone else there was like... I was the young... I'd turn up and... with
your Prodigy. With your Prodigy keyboard.
I was about... I don't know how old I would have been. Actually, this particular one occurred... I don't know what year it occurred in. It was 2001, so I'd have been, what?
16.
Thank you, Josh. I was 16. I mean, that is embarrassing. The really sad thing about that was I didn't even try for a second to figure that out. I just looked at you like you were Vorderman.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, mate.
I'm good at maths.
But I just turned up every week. And one week I turned up and everyone else was like in their 50s.
Yeah.
Like much older than me. And we'd be playing like old blues songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got up one week and basically I was playing drums with there's a guy on guitar, another guy on guitar, a bassist. They were all like mid-50s. And they started playing All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
And the problem was, I didn't know this because I had never heard All Along the Watchtower at that age. At that age, I was completely, it's like when
the Bob Dylan or Jimi Hendrix version.
It was the Jimi Hendrix version, and I know that now, but like it's not like when someone says to you, have you seen like a really famous film, and you know that everyone's seen that, and so you lie momentarily go, yeah, I've seen Jaws, and you haven't, and then they start talking about the plot, and and then you just try and...
Shark, when will he leave people alone, eh?
Yeah, that shark. I'll tell you what else is good in sharks is Shark's Tale. Have you seen that? I've seen it. And so I'd steer it towards, more your home turf. Yeah. But when you're actually, it's very different to if someone went to you, let's act out a scene from Jaws right now, and then you've got to riff it. And so I
think this boat's adequately sized.
Yeah. This boat is brilliant, perfect. Could ask for a more spacious boat. But So they started playing. I didn't know they were playing. I thought they'd made up a song.
These guys are good.
I was like, this guy. I mean, he's wasted his talent here at Kettering Football Club.
Is there a watchtower in Kettering?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I didn't realise. They started playing all along the watchtower. And I let them play for a bit, and then I joined in with like the most disco beat you've ever like. I literally heard the song. I was like, you know what this song needs?
Take the boy out the prodigy.
Fat Kid Still Reigns supreme at the drum stall. So I started playing this properly, like, you know, a really disco-y beat, and everyone in the room is pretty old and was looking at me disapprovingly. I was thinking, I'm in time. I don't know what this guy's problem is, you know.
I mean, I'm 10 years out.
Yeah. I'm really jazzing this up. And I realised halfway through when he sang the lyric All Along the Watchtower, I was like, oh no, I've heard of that. I thought,
and it wasn't by Chic.
Yeah. This isn't a Bee Gees song, is it? I started thinking, like, who is it by? And then the worst thing, what is worse than realising the song is by Jimi Hendrix is realising it's a song by Jimi Hendrix and Bob Dylan. is the one you go, oh no, two of the greats are murdering two people at the same time. And like, there's more and more they're playing, looking, and they cut the song short, which I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I didn't know until after, so my dad was at the back watching and said, yeah, they cut that short.
Another disappointing musical experiment in front of your dad.
Yeah. But I remember coming on stage, and two people came up to me. One person came up to me and he went, no one plays a disco beat to All Along the Watchtower. I was like, sorry.
He said, nice to meet you, Mr. Zimmerman.
Yeah. And then the next person came up to me and he went, that's one of the most horrifying things I've ever witnessed. Right? Now,
amazing.
Ben, that is pretty dramatic as it is, as a comment, right? Even more dramatic is that this happened on 9/11. Right, I'm not even lying. It was on the day it happened. I got this jam night.
You sure you hadn't just been watching the news?
Yeah, he was pointing at the TV, and I was taking it so badly. I was like, "Come on, mate, just disco."
Didn't the jam night get cancelled?
No, jam night went on. I think they thought if we cancelled the jam night, the terrorists have won. So keep it going.
And I think if there's any way to stand up to terrorists, it's with the party on atmosphere of disco music.
Yeah, but let's show them how much we like to party. You can't get more Western than disco.
Josh Widdicombe Podcast XFM.
We've landed the motherlode, James. We have. We've been talking all morning about bedroom bands and kind of being frustrated by hearing descriptions and their names and wanting to hear what. We have a recording. We have Chell Star 88.
Lovely.
Can't believe I'm still doing that. What would you call her?
Kimberly Bieber from Crew.
My husband's band in high school was called Coolio Pop. Do you want to have a guess at what Coolio Pop do?
I think Coolio Pop do covers of Coolio songs.
But slightly blanded down.
Yeah, and
it's just too urban. It's like Coolio meets Steps. No, Coolio. They made a debut album called Funk-Induced Coma. Only they have
Common
copies.
occurrence.
Winky face. Well, we then replied. Our producer Neil replied, and we now have a copy of Funk-Induced Coma. Let's speculate before we hear Funk-Induced Coma. Just in case we don't come back from it.
Well, the thing is, I mean, it's quite, you know, you think it'd be funky.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they've got the word coma in there, which makes you feel it's going to be very mellow. So,
well, you don't know where we stand on Coolio Pop.
Really.
What Coolio Pop like to do is match opposites.
Pop, funk, Coolio, coma. You can't even imagine what this is going to sound like.
Coolio Coma. This is Coolio Coma with Funky Pop.
Hold on a minute, this perfect night and this perfect supposed to be. And hold on a minute, I feel all flushed cause I got no ID. And hold on a minute, this perfect night and this perfect supposed to be. And hold on a minute, I feel all flushed cause I got no ID, no.
I'd just like to add, that's the most horrific thing I've ever seen. No, the sound effects before and after were put on by XFM, presumably.
Yeah, that wasn't part of the funk-induced coma.
The funk-induced coma. We've lost him. I mean, hold on a minute. Was that the lyric?
Yeah, well, he's got no ID. He can't get into a club. That seems to be the lyrics. Is that he says it's supposed to be a wonderful night. I've not got my ID. The thing is,
I
liked it.
But would you get down to that?
I'd get on down. He's a bit mumbly. You know, if I was an X Factor judge, and I had
If
to
you're
give
an
them-
X Factor judge and Coolio Pop come on and they do Funk Induced Coma OVs, what would you say at the end of that?
So you're a little bit mumbly, mate. You need to try and denunciate a bit better, so I can get the full grasp of the story. I've gathered that you're at a club and you haven't got your ID, but there was something that you said twice that was incoherent. But the thing is, you lower your expectations so much.
Oh yeah, I was expecting a rubber band around an ice cream tub
Yeah.
behind the band.
I was like, this is tissue paper on a comb. Like, really, going to be awful. And then you hear it, and then you go, that's not bad. But obviously, if you had said, like, if that was played during the show, if you were like, here's a new single from What's It, and that came on, we'd have gone, that is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, you go, how did they get signed?
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, what is going on? You would expect to be in a club and that comes on and
Yeah. If a band went, this is our new single,
Yeah.
hold on a minute, it's about not being able to get into a club, you'd go, I can't wait for it. Oh no. But,
yeah.
well, you know, give Coolio Pop their due. If you want to hear more of Coolio Pop, I left a break there as if you were going to jump at it and you went, well, I'm willing to give them a certain amount of praise.
Started thinking, well, yeah, they don't judge them on one song.
They've got of course they have. They've got MySpace.
Are they still going?
After this roasting, myspace.com/Coolio Pop.
I think, I might even restart a MySpace account just to befriend them. Check in with Tom as well. Haven't heard from him in a while. See how he's doing.
myspace.com/Fatboy.
Yeah. Fat kid, mate. Get it right. Fat boy was my rival.
There's a drive-by East and West Side Kettering over there.
Yeah, he used to play songs that sounded like Embrace, and hated him.
Thank you.